Hey, what's up, everybody? Mike Doctor here. I am the coach of one of the house high school basketball teams out of Muskegon, Michigan, and we play on the Michigan Basketball Academy circuit. And this is the start of a new book. It's the start of a new season, start of a new book. I recorded Chop Wood, Carry Water in different chapters and segments for the returning players from my team last year. We're going to start Pound the Stone, which is the follow-up to that. Super excited about it. Already read the first 3 chapters, which are going to be in this video with the team today. So if you're watching this for the first time and you like what we're doing, go ahead and subscribe to the playlist, subscribe to the channel. I'm going to go ahead and recommend that you watch through or read through Chop Wood, Carry Water first, just to get it essentially, because this builds on that. So we're going to read straight through the first 3 chapters pretty quickly. It really just sort of lays the foundation. It doesn't give too much like learning moments or anything like that. There's a couple lines I might point out, but for the most part, it's really just setting the narrative and the storyline. So we'll do the first 3 chapters. And thank you for joining us. So this is Pound the Stone by Joshua Medcalf. Chapter 1, Enough is Enough. You're done. The words drove through Jason's chest like an ice pick, and he felt the familiar rush of angry blood. Wham! Without thinking, he slammed his head into the desk in front of him. That's not fair. State finals are in 2 days, he yelled. Across from him, Coach Michael's tired face didn't waver. This was the face of a man who had had enough. Doesn't matter. I can't have you on this team anymore, Jason. You punched an opposing player in the face. You almost lost us the game. You saw it. He was giving me cheap shots all game. Trey always does that. He had it coming. I don't want excuses. I just want your gear turned in by 8 a.m. tomorrow. Jason reeled desperate. He knew he pushed the boundaries a lot, but he never thought it would go this far. His fist balled in rage, clinching and unclinching. So this is how it's going to go, huh? He glared at his coach. After all your talk about team as family, I should have known you would quit on me just like everybody else. Michael snapped back at him angrily. Jason, it's only your freshman year, and you've already failed a drug test, been suspended twice, and accused of cheating on a test several times. I've done my best to make this work for both of us, but I'm not a magician. There are some mistakes I can't cover you on. Enough is enough. You are off this basketball team, son. Jason blinked, stunned. Those were words he'd never expected to hear. From the time he could walk, basketball was life. With a father in and out of prison and with a single mother who worked 2 jobs, the game had become his anchor. He was good at it too. It felt as natural as breathing. To Jason, a life without basketball was a life without breathing. Emotion choked him, but he shoved it down. If there was one thing he'd learned growing up on the streets, it was that men don't cry, they fight. He knew he had one last shot at changing Michael's mind, so he had to appeal to what he cared about more than anything else, winning. Coach, I scored 28 points in the semis. You know you can't win state without me. Coach's eyes flashed. Winning really may have been the thing he cared about most, and Jason was easily one of his best players. He had the kind of raw, natural talent that could shift the game on a dime, and it had led them to several clutch wins already that season. But after a second, that hungry look in Michael's eyes faded. It was replaced with resolution instead. You know what? You're probably right. You have incredible natural talent, Jason, but you're far too big of a liability. I've made some poor choices to indulge in your complete lack of character in the past, but those stop now. I don't even want you sitting on the bench at state. Besides, the state board would most likely suspend you for 3 games anyway, so this is on you, not me. Your choice has created your challenge. You've lost the privilege to be a part of this team. Jason blinked, and a roar like a stereo blast turned up in his ears. His jaw clenched tight. His chest heaved as he stood, drawing a 6'4" of himself to his full height. With his bright bleached mohawk, he stood even taller. Most people got intimidated by his physical presence, but not Coach. He was still talking. Still, Jason was too angry to listen. And then he felt the rage building inside of him, and he turned to leave it happen. Without thinking, Jason drew back. Wham! He punched his clenched fist straight through the drywall of the office. The drywall powdered and caved in easily enough, but the thick wood behind it didn't. They both heard the sound at the same time, a loud hollow pop, like a piece of wood snapping. As a lightning bolt of pain slashed up Jason's forearm, he knew he had broken a lot more than just some drywall. So that's chapter 1. We're going to go right on to chapter 2. But one sentence that one of my players pointed out earlier was the sentence after your choice has created your challenge. I highlighted that sentence, and she said, well, I really like the sentence after that. And Maya, you're a rock star for pointing this out, so thank you for that. You've lost the privilege to be a part of this team. She just pointed out that playing on a team is a privilege. Playing with a team of people who you enjoy, doing and engaging in activities that you love, that's a privilege, and we shouldn't take that for granted because somebody sacrificed for us to be able to have those opportunities. So Maya, shout out to you. Good work. All right, chapter 2, last chance. I can't believe I'm saying this, but you have one last chance. Pacing in front of Jason was Scott Miles, athletic director of the Midvale High Raiders. He stopped and looked at Jason in the eye. To be honest, you don't deserve it, but thanks to your coach and your team captain, you're getting it. A week had passed since Jason put his fist through the drywall. The cast covering his hand itched and frustrated him. At first, he faced expulsion, but after Coach Michael had calmed down, a solution was presented. It wasn't perfect, but it was better than being off the team for good. So Jason did his best to play along. So I'm doing this all summer? Coach nodded, handed Jason a flyer. Yes, this program is 12 weeks. You'll start with a week of sales training, and then you'll hit the streets. And all I have to do is sell books door to door, and I get to keep a percentage of the sales? If it sounds easy, let me tell you right now, it's not. This isn't exactly summer camp. Many of the students who sign up never finish. If you're one of them, that's that. You'll never play ball in this district again. But if I finish, I'm back on the team. Finish? You're going to have to do a lot more than finish. You're going to have to hit the numbers. Jason just grinned. Come on, coach, I'll hit the numbers. How many do I need to sell? 200. Easy enough? Jason was feeling good. Michael chuckled. Not 200 total, son. 200 per book. Oh, well, how many books are there? Take a look. Jason scanned the list of books on the sheet. The Slight Edge, Chop Wood, Carry Water, Grit, The Only Way to Win, Daring Greatly, In the Pit with a Lion on a Snowy Day. 6. Jason's smile fell as he did the quick math. 1,200 books. That was a lot of books. 80 Miles noticed and chuckled. Like you said, Jason, this will be the toughest summer of your life. 12 to 14 hours a day of pounding the streets. You still want to sign up? Jason nodded, resolved. If it means I can play golf ball again, then I'm in. Miles shrugged. All right, then. Do you have the release? Jason handed them the form which his mother had signed after his discussion with the coach. The program meant Jason would be staying in a stranger's home all summer, covering a territory in at least 2 hours from home. But after the past year of dealing with her son's disciplinary issues, his mother didn't think twice. When I was 14, I had to drop out of school to work 10 hours a day at a cannery. Don't tell me you think selling books is harder, young man. You love to talk your way out of everything, so let's see you use that smile and smooth tongue for something worthwhile. Jason was angry, but he knew by now not to expect his life to be fair. Everyone seemed to have it better and easier than he did, but this was his only path back to basketball. So if he had to do something this stupid to get there, fine. He stuffed everything into his backpack and shook the coach's hand, putting on a brave face. Thanks, coach. I'll see you in the fall. Remember, Jason, this is your last chance. Don't come back if you haven't hit your numbers. Did they go for it? Jason nodded, fist bumping his teammate Travis, who had been sitting out in the hall waiting. Travis was 2 years older than him, and though his background couldn't have been more different from Jason's, he always went out of his way to make sure Jason was taken care of. Jason had always heard that the team needs glue, but it never made sense to him until he met Travis. Even though he was one of those guys who just seemed to have it all, class president, lettered in every sport, top consistent rank in his class, academically, he seemed to always put his teammates first. In fact, it was his suggestion that even got coach thinking about giving Jason another shot in the first place. Thank you so much. I owe you for life, man. Jason tried to sound as grateful as he felt. But Travis shrugged it off. No worries, buddy. We need you on the court next year, so we have to make it happen. Who knows? Maybe you'll make some good money while you're at it. That was chapter 2. Here's chapter 3. And then we'll end this video and we'll move on to some of the other stuff. So chapter 3, Kaya, the love interest. All right, chapter 3. Jason laid on the bus bench looking up at the sky, rap music blasting through his headphones. It was the only way he could tune out his anger. He knew punching the wall was a big mistake, but it felt like Coach was going extra hard on him. Coach loved winning more than anything, and Jason's fight had cost him the championship. Without Jason, they lost by 25 points in the finals. He sat up trying to block it all out. That's when he saw her. The girl down the bench from him seemed familiar, like they'd been in a class together. He thought he'd seen her before, but not like this. She was clearly a beautiful girl, some kind of mix between Asian and possibly Jamaican. But it wasn't just that she was exotic. There was something different about the way she carried herself. not like other girls. She sat up straight, her foot bouncing as it crossed her long, shapely leg. He noticed she wore heels and a blazer, like she worked in an office. Who did that in high school? He caught her eye and smiled, pulling off his headphones. Hi, I like your shoes. She popped an earbud out, looking at him a bit annoyed. What? I like your shoes. You going somewhere fancy? Kind of. They're for a job interview. Where? Not McDonald's, huh? He laughed at his own joke, but she didn't blink. I already did that for 2 years. I'm upgrading. It's a real estate company downtown. They need a receptionist. Aren't you too young for an office job like that? Her eyes flashed with a look of defiance. Only if they know how old I am. And I only have to tell them if they ask. I'll never know if I don't try, right? Yeah, I guess, Jason trailed off, looking at the book she held. What are you reading? Doesn't look like a textbook. It's not. It's called Hustle. It's a story of a guy who went from living in the closet of a gym and serving at a homeless shelter to building a multi-million-dollar brand. He shares his journey and all the lessons he learned along the way. Is that why you're reading it? You want to be a CEO or something someday? Kaya answered with a quiet confidence. I just don't want to. I already am. Jason was surprised. He wasn't used to seeing that kind of confidence from girls. Honestly, he wasn't used to seeing that kind of confidence from anyone. So you're a CEO, she nodded. Jason continued. Of what? Inspire You, my tutoring business. I have 4 clients already. I tutor kids in writing, reading comprehension, and study habits. I'll start doing AP Lit in English next year. For real? She nodded with the swagger of a pro athlete. Jason shifted. Wait a minute. So if you already have a business, what are you going into this real estate place to ask for another job? Once the business grows, I'll need an office, and I don't know anything about real estate. But if I work there, I can learn. Jason nodded, impressed. She really wasn't like any girl he'd ever met before. So you're going to get your office. What name is going to be on the door? She smiled, held out her hand. Kaya. Jason smiled back, shaking. Jason. I know, before Jason could ask Jason could ask her how she knew she got up. My car's here. Sure enough, a black Honda Accord pulled to a stop at the curb. As she stood to leave, Jason realized, wait, I didn't get your number. She smirked. Bye, Jason, and got in the car. It drove off, leaving Jason's mind blown. Kaya, he repeated it. He wouldn't forget that name. All right, so that is the foundation of the story, the main characters so far, and a little bit about what's going on. A rebellious kid, basketball narrative, and I'll tell you what, it's a great book, and I'm looking forward to sharing the upcoming chapters where we really get into some of the meat, but that is a good foundation. So join us for the next video. We'll see you next time. Bye now.